The following program is a public access production. Comcast is required to provide time on this channel and make it available pursuant to franchise agreements with the communities we serve. Comcast is not affiliated with the following program or the producers of public access programming and is not responsible for the content. The following program does not reflect the opinions of Comcast or its affiliates.
Welcome to another edition of Discover Tinley. Welcome to watching us this month. A program designed to highlight the people and organizations in Tinley Park that make our town a great place in which to live. And as we all know, Tinley Park is a great place in which to live. Brought to you each month by the Community Resources Commission of Tinley Park, along with our high school and college volunteers. We bring this program every month to give you some idea of what's going on in town here. Special program this month, highlighting some artistic talent. We're standing here in front of the Tinley Park Vote Visual Arts Center in Tinley Park, where they have monthly programs, a lot of really interesting monthly programs, denoting certain different kinds of art styles and artists in town. Hopefully you get a chance to come by here and take a look at some of the programs and displays they have here. One of the program we're going to do this month, though, is highlighting the artists who have been on the Avenue. The bench artists. Tinley Park has a tradition for many years now of doing benches on Oak Park Avenue, where artists create bench artistic styles and show various things that pertaining to the art that they like to do. We're going to show you today some of the artists, especially first-time artists, who decided to put a bench on Oak Park Avenue and show us what they can do. So let's go out to the avenue and look at some of the benches on Oak Park Avenue. Our first bench is by Molly Gropka. Molly, thanks for coming to Discover Tinley.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yeah.
This is wonderful.
Okay, and your sponsor is First Midwest Bank.
Yes, it is.
And now you did this for the first time.
Yes, this is my first year making a bench. It was quite an experience.
Why? Why?
Actually, it started, we were at the Vote Visual Arts Center, just me and my family. We were looking at one of the dollhouse exhibits, just kind of having fun. And my sister picked up a flyer off of the wall, and she was like, "Look, fairy tale theme, you love fairy tales and dragons." And I was like, "Oh, that seems like a good idea." So I took it home and I thought about it, and my mom really pressured me and was like, "Oh, you should really do it, you'd have a lot of fun, just try." So I submitted a proposal of my Rapunzel bench right here. And
yeah, what's the title of your bench?
It's called Let Down Your Hair.
Okay.
So, and then they picked it. So
and you look like the picture there. The golden hair.
I do my best.
Driving down there. Give us a brief idea of the work that was involved doing this. How long did it take you to do it, and what was involved with that?
So we started, they let us pick it up around like mid-March. Mm-hmm. From there, we didn't get really to start until April because it was so cold. I really couldn't get out and work. Yeah. A lot of me and my dad going back and forth to Menards for lots of plywood and paint and varnish and back and forth. Most of it was in the garage. We kind of set up our chop saw, table saw, saber saw, all your different saws, you know, got it all down. And we started with the base of the bench. They actually provide for you. And then from there, we built up the tower. So the first two tower pieces were cut out of plywood and then put together with struts in the back. The back tower, there's a small back tower. It's hard to see with the hair blocking. Okay. That was second. And then we put that together with all supports in it. And then we cut out the large piece of hair. We actually put it on with it was just a square. And then I went with a saber saw around the edges and cut it into that design so I could get the hair flow. And then we took one of the routers and we went around all the edges and made it real smooth and nice to touch, and then sanded and primed.
How long did you think you spent on it? How many hours? Guesstimate.
I couldn't even guess the hours, but I would say at least every single Saturday, Sunday, and any waking moment I had extra from April to May, for sure.
My.
At least the entire
Wow.
Saturdays and Sundays were filled with it, absolutely. And any extra time I had after school to paint. So.
Oh, my. Speaking of school, now what's your background? What are you doing besides painting benches?
I'm going for graphic design at St. Xavier's in Chicago. I'll be going into my senior year this last year upcoming. I'm really excited. I've been an artist since I was quite young. One of my inspirations for art was actually watching a Rapunzel movie, and they had like a little side painting thing on it, so I really got into it from there. So Rapunzel's a painter, as we all know. So
I didn't know that, but that's good to know.
Yeah, she's a painter.
Okay.
So, and then from there, I really just have done it for a really long time, and I'm really interested in graphic design. I really like Photoshop and all your programs that go along with that. I make a lot of handmade jewelry. I do a lot of cutesy stuff on my own, and I love fashion. So I'm really into fashion and stuff like that. So
let me ask you this: do you think you might do it again?
Depending on what the theme is.
Okay.
I think theme is something I have to be really passionate about, and this was something I was extremely passionate about. I love Rapunzel. I love it so much. So it's something I'm really passionate about, and if the theme is right, absolutely again.
Okay. Well,
Absolutely.
Molly, thanks for doing it. It looks beautiful, and
Thank you.
thanks for being a first timer on Oak Park Avenue. Well, we're here with our next guest, the next artist, Maria Lemons. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Thanks for being on our show today.
Thank you for inviting me.
This is your third time doing this.
Right.
So you're an experienced artist.
Yeah, well, I love art, so for me.
Why did you
this
do
is
it? Why did you decide to do a bench?
Well, I love art, so
Okay.
for me it was like a challenge because I never did nothing like this before. So when I did it my first, I was so excited, and I love the experience. So I decided to keep going.
Okay, good. I'm glad you did. It looks beautiful. How did you pick the subject? What made you decide on this particular
Well,
subject?
I always was so fascinated by Disney. I was really inspired by his art. So I always loved the princesses, and I knew that the people would like it too. So I choose to do this because it's one of the favorites of everybody. So.
Everybody knows the Little Mermaid.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. How did you go about doing it? What was involved in doing it? How long did it take you to put all this together?
Well, it took me like a month and a half because I don't have a place to work, so I have to do it in my apartment.
Oh my!
In my time off, so it's not a lot of space to work. And my daughter was doing hers too, so it was a little small place to work.
Yeah.
But well, you have a lot of details that we have to take care of in both of them. So yeah, it took me like a.
What kind of materials did you use for this?
Well, I use for the all the stones in there. It's foam.
Oh.
And then I cover it with polymer.
Okay.
And I put some sand on the sand.
Okay.
I said I can paint with sand on it. Well, it gives a good effect, and plus different sizes of the wood, put them in different levels, so it'll give it like a third dimension.
Okay, wow. Well, and are you going to do another one next year, do you think?
Oh, definitely.
Definitely, okay.
Yeah.
What's your background now? What is your background in art?
Well, I work as a graphic designer in Mexico, in a publicity place. And I did some illustration for books. It was a series of book like Goosebumps, so kind of scary things. And I always got inspired by Disney art, so that's my style.
Are you still doing graphic design?
No, right now I haven't found a job doing that because I don't have a degree, but illustration, yeah, I've done some for the people who work with wood, some designs for them.
Okay.
Just whatever it comes of art, I love. I love to do it. I do portraits and I do figurines.
Wow.
whatever.
Wow.
Anything that is artistic, I love.
Very talented. It sounds like you're doing it a long time and then very talented artist.
Yeah.
Well, it's a beautiful job here. It looks very nice,
Thank
and
you.
congratulations. And
Thank you.
we look forward to seeing you again next year. And
Yep,
we're
sure.
going to talk to your daughter in a while because you inspired your daughter to do
Yeah.
one. So we'll see when that. So thanks for coming and
Okay.
being on our show.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
All right, our next guest is Steve Manzioni, who is another first-timer. Decided to take all his spare time and do an art project here. His sponsor is the Tribes Ale House and Grill, and I forgot to mention that Maria's sponsor was the Odyssey Fun World. So the first time, Tinley Park resident. Welcome to Discover Tinley, and congratulations on a beautiful job here.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Why did you decide to do it? Why a first-timer deciding to get involved with all this?
I like the theme. I thought that the fairy tale theme was something that I could do a good job with, and I like the kind of community project of it. I've lived here for almost 10 years, and I've always seen them go up, and this year I wanted to be a part of it.
Wow, that's pretty good. Now, how did you pick the subject? What made you decide on this particular subject matter?
I had kind of grown up with the Chronicles of Narnia books by C.S. Lewis. It was one of my childhood fairy tales that I read, so I always liked this story, and I thought that it would be good for this theme.
Kind of describe your picture, though. What's it depicting?
It depicts King Peter is the guy with the sword, and then Aslan is the lion. The girl closest to us is King Peter's sister Susan, and then the woman at the bottom is the White Queen, or the villain of the story.
Wow. Someday I'll watch it and see what it's all about.
There you go.
What did it take to do all this? What did you do to get this all done? And it looks pretty elaborate here too. So what was involved in putting all this together?
So the wardrobe part we actually constructed from scratch. I had a little help from my dad, as my carpentry skills are not as great as I'd like them to be. But yeah, it's not converted from anything like an entertainment center or anything. Okay. It's totally constructed from scratch, and then we put some crown molding on the top to kind of give it more of like an antique-y type of wardrobe look, and then we made the doors out of plywood and put some trim on the front to give them a really good identifiable look as doors. And luck of the draw, I was able to find some lion head fittings at Home Depot and put them on the front there, so it fit perfectly.
Oh, wow.
And then the paintings are just 5x4 sheets of plywood that we primed and painted.
And you all hand painted that yourself, right?
Yes, I hand painted all of it myself. Yeah.
And maybe there's some in the back too. So
yes, on the back.
In the back, there's a painting on the back. So that's quite elaborate. How much time do you think it took you to do all this?
Probably the entire month of April, every day for about 4 or 5 hours after work. So probably between 60 and 80 hours, I would say.
Goodness.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of staining and varnishing and sanding and all kinds of stuff. So.
What's your background? What are you doing when you're not doing these things?
I teach art. I an adjunct teacher at Columbia College Chicago, and I also graphic design for a company in Naperville. I draw comics as well. That's really my specialty. So that's pretty much my art background.
That's a big background. Well, congratulations. It's a beautiful job there, and thanks for doing it, and hopefully you can do it again next year maybe?
I think so. I mean, if it's a good theme, definitely. So. Yes, thank you.
All right, Steve Manzioni with the First Time Artist on Oak Park Avenue. Our next bench is by Lizette Lemons. That name sounds familiar, huh? We just saw your mother's bench a little while ago.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty good. Now, your bench is sponsored by Durkin Electric. And tell us what's the title of your bench, and why did you decide to do this one?
The title of the bench is the Lorax, and I decided to do it because my mom has worked on 2 other benches before. Okay. She already did her 3rd year. Okay. So this is my 1st year, and she had a lot of fun. I thought it'd be really fun for me to try, so I gave it a shot.
Was it fun?
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
A lot of work, though, isn't it?
Yeah, with school and then the bench. It was kind of a lot, but it was fun.
Why'd you pick this particular subject?
Well, the theme for it was fairy tales and I guess children's stories, and I've always been a really big fan of Dr. Seuss, and I chose the Lorax.
Now, what's the Lorax? I'm not familiar with that.
Well, it's a story about a young man who wants to be a big shot doing something that everyone would like. So he created this thing called the Thneed, and it's made out of the trees, the truffula trees.
Okay.
And the fame got to him, I guess. He cut down every single tree, and everything was dead, and he ruined everything. And then, yeah.
Not so much of a big shot anymore.
No.
Wow. What did it take to put into this? What kind of workload did you put into this, and how much time did it take? Things like that.
It took me around 3 weeks because my mom was also working on her bench, so we didn't have much space to do it, and it was kind of cramped. And yeah, I put around 3 hours a day.
3 hours a day.
Like
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't have much time since school and stuff.
Well, that's quite a bit, though. 3
Yeah.
hours a day while you're still in school. And now,
Yeah.
where are you going to school?
I go to Tinley Park High School.
And what year are you?
I am going to be a senior this year.
Oh my. Okay, you're getting up in the world here a little
Yeah.
bit. What's your background? What's your art background, and what are you planning on doing?
I've taken 2 years of art and a year of animation and graphic design, and I'm going into studio art. And I plan to do an internship with Pixar and go to a DreamWorks college.
Oh my.
Something like
It sounds pretty ambitious.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty good. Okay, you thinking about doing another one maybe next year?
For
Or?
sure. Yeah.
For sure?
Yeah, depending on the theme, I'm definitely going to try to do
Your
it.
mother's bug has gotten into you. Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, congratulations. It's a very nice bench. It's very excellent. The artistic work is just blows my mind. It's fantastic how you do it. Did you come up with all the ideas yourself on how to put it all together?
Well, I had a little help on how big to do it. Well, how tall and stuff to cut the wood. And the sizes, but other than that, I pretty much did it.
Did all
It was all,
yourself?
yeah.
Wow. All right, fantastic. Well, congratulations, and keep up the good work in your artistic talent.
Thank you.
And keep going with that. Another first-time artist out here on Oak Park Avenue, the benches. And if you've been seeing me hold up a little brochure here, this is a brochure describing all the benches. And you can pick up these brochures either Village Hall, the Chamber of Commerce, a few other places around town. So look for the brochure and see it, and then go check out all the different places in Oak Park Avenue. Rest of the show, we're going to show you some of the other benches and hope you enjoy them. And come out and enjoy the benches on Tinley Park. And we'll see you next month on Discover Tinley. Little Red Riding Hood. The artist is Jennifer Lilly. Sponsor, Odyssey Fun Farm. This fairy tale depicts the wolf trying to trick Little Red Riding Hood into believing it is her grandmother. The back shows Red's apprehension about entering the house. The materials used for Little Red Riding Hood were plywood, great stuff, chicken wire, sculpey clay, fake fur, fleece, artificial flowers, outdoor fabric, canvas, a bed skirt, and a bandana. This is Jennifer's 8th year participating as a bench artist, and this is one of 2 she did this year. Beware of the Sugar Sweet Layer. Artist Marty Rose and Don Zach. Sponsor, Arrow Rubber Company, Incorporated. This bench portrays Grimm's tale of Hansel and Gretel, who are left to starve in the woods by their stepmother. They find a home made of baked sweets and tempting treats, but discover it's really the evil lair of a wicked witch. Constructed of plywood and painted with acrylics, this bench captures the feeling of the forest. Marty and Don are neighbors. Don is a retired engineer, and Marty is a respiratory therapist, along with being a muralist and a publisher of a novel. Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Wolf? Artists Gary Gray and Philip Girk. Sponsor, Seco Consultants, Incorporated. The big bad wolf huffs and puffs and blows down the first pig's straw house, then the second pig's stick house, but the wolf cannot destroy the third pig's brick house and meets his end when he enters through its chimney. This bench is comprised of wood, paint, and ingenuity. 6 family members' voices bring the story to life with scannable QR codes. Garrett and Phil are a son-in-law and father-in-law team of award-winning bench artists who make people smile with their popular artwork. The Princess and the Frog. Artist is Valerie Palak. Sponsor, Ed and Joe's Pizza. This colorful bench was inspired by the idea of a princess coming upon a magical frog in one of Claude Monet's watercolored paintings, Water Lilies. It is painted in a style similar to Impressionism painting by using acrylic paints. Water lilies, cattails, and other Japanese garden-inspired objects beautify the bench. Valerie lives in Homer Glen and is a first-year bench artist. Down the Rabbit Hole. Artists are Brittany Woods, Lexi Woods, Wade Anderson, and Ryan Badillion. Sponsor is Gatto's Restaurant and Bar. Everyone should have their own wonderland, a place where your imagination can run wild, where the sky is the limit. This vibrant bench is filled with colorful paint to create a 3D effect. Ryan is a senior at St. Xavier University and majors in art. Lexi and Brittany are sisters who work together and have enjoyed viewing the benches over the years. Brittany and Ryan are the main designers for this bench, and they are all first-year bench artists. Climb to Safety. Artist Laura Garrity. Sponsor, Trustee Antonio Rubino, Orland Township. The lone maiden Rapunzel is portrayed in her tower longing for her prince. To create the bench, the artist used a variety of materials from wood, fencing posts, and spray foam to create faux rocks to canvas to create the hair braids and ivy. This is Laura's 4th year as a bench artist, formerly completing 3 benches with her students in the Grissom Middle School Art Club. This year she has enjoyed the challenge of creating a bench on her own. The Brementown Musicians. Artists, Jacob, Kari, Lindsay, Jeremy, and Alyssa Hoffman. Sponsor is Port Brown LLC, Certified Public Accountants. In the Brementown Musicians, 4 unappreciated animals leave their homes and head to the town of Bremen, hoping to become town musicians. On their way, they find a cottage in the woods with 4 robbers inside. They attempt to perform their music for the robbers, but scare them off with their noise instead. The robbers return later only to be scared off again, this time for good, and the animal friends decide to live happily ever after in the cottage. This Tinley Park family created this bench as a fun family project, and this is Kari's 2nd year as a bench artist. Hansel and Gretel. Artist is Jennifer Lilly, and the sponsor is Crossmark Printing Incorporated. This bench shows the story of the children Hansel and Gretel. After getting lost in the woods, they come across an edible house with candies, cookies, and cakes. They are captured by a witch who plans to eat them, but Gretel saves the day. This creative artist used plywood, great stuff, screen, chicken wire, batting, glitter, canvas, plumbing pipe, sheet metal, duct tape, wooden circles and balls, socks, felt, ribbon, and gold coin chocolate candy wrappers to create the 3D look. This is Jennifer's 8th year participating as a bench artist. She lives in a neighboring community and has worked in Tinley Park for 23 years. And again, this is one of 2 she did this year. The Princess and the Pea. Artist Amanda Sichiraki. Sponsor, the Holiday Inn Hotel and Convention Center. One rainy night in the kingdom, a bedraggled girl knocked at the castle gate seeking shelter. She insisted that she was a princess. The queen placed a pea beneath a towering stack of mattresses before sending the girl to bed. In the morning, the girl proved herself to be a princess by her sleepless night. The prince, who had been seeking a wife, finally found his princess. The bench is constructed with a mixture of woods and is upholstered with an old blanket and outdoor fabrics. Amanda graduated from the Art Institute of Chicago in 2010, and she is a first-year bench artist and currently teaches grammar school art and music. Where the Wild Things Are. The artist, Illinois Institute of Art, the Tinley Park Bench Team. The sponsor is Heat and Frost Insulators Local 17. The Illinois Institute of Art has chosen the fairy tale Where the Wild Things Are by Maurice Sendak. They have included Max and his best friend from the island of wild things in the bench. Both Max's and the monster's hair were created from gerbil and guinea pig bedding that was incorporated in paint to give the bench a 3D appearance, as well as stacking the monster's facial features. This group, which consists of Bethany Nemec, Tara Deliberto, Stacy Jerwisik, Greg Marino, Jill Decker, and Kathleen Enright, all from the Tinley Park Illinois Institute of Art. Jack and the Beanstalk. The artist, Nick Schulian. Sponsor is James B. Carroll and Associates. The artist started this bench by using a tree branch to create the beanstalk. Most of the bench is made of plywood, and canvas was used to make the leaves of the plant. He used plastic hose to make vines and artificial plants to add the final growing end of the plants. Straw was used for hair and rope for an accent on the cow. He cantilevered the cloud which supports the giant as Jack climbs down the stalk. Nick has been a Tinley Park resident for 60 years. He is a retired high school art teacher and has created numerous benches over the past 9 years, and this is one of 2 he did this year. The Wizard of Oz. Artist, Babeth Kopf. Sponsor is the Newmark Credit Union. Beth Kopf is a third-year bench creator. Her Wizard of Oz bench was, in her words, her best bench. She used materials such as astroturf, concrete, and gems to create the Witch's Castle and poppy field leading to the Emerald City. Her bench was inspired by her daughter Jenna's love for the Wizard of Oz. Beth is the art director of the Garden Gallery in Tinley Park. Thumbelina's Garden. Artist, Roger Gerenser. Sponsor, Ted's Greenhouse Incorporated. Thumbelina is waking up in the center of a large flower, surrounded by many more flowers and plants, with the Frog Queen and her son looking on nearby. The Queen wants Thumbelina to be her son's bride. The frogs are covered with fleece cloth and are stuffed with plastic bags to create a more 3D effect. The seat of the bench is a pond and is carried over in the flower boxes on each side. Several colors of paint and sheets of exterior plywood were used for the figures and plants. Roger is an 8th-year bench artist and is a retired art teacher, having taught in the Valley View School District for 34 years. Goldilocks and the Three Bears. The artist is Nick Schulian. Sponsor is Bettenhausen Automotive. The artist used fur-covered plywood to create the bears and rope for the features on the face. Father Bear is wearing a Chicago Bears t-shirt, and an upset baby bear has a tear running down his cheek that is made of glue. Canvas was used to create the bed, which is a cushioned seat, and wooden knobs were used to create the bedstead. Nick has been a Tinley Park resident for 60 years, a retired art teacher, and has created numerous benches over the past 9 years, and this is one of 2 he did this year. A Stroll in the Woods. Artists, Alyssa Bombassi, Joanna Carmody, Deborah Connolly, John Harisi, Wenda Starita, along with the Garden Gallery artists, and the sponsor is Robinson Engineering and Klein, Thorpe & Jenkins. The magic of Snow White is captured in this bewitching and enchanted forest scene. Look closely, the 3D is subtle. Hidden within the scenes is an actual stone chimney, a gravel path, and various rocks nestled by the river. The colorful floral seat was designed and painted by the Garden Gallery artists, all first-time participants, and the team included all those people we mentioned, along with an amazing ensemble of adult artists with developmental disabilities. The Prince and the Dragon. Artists were Michelle, Carlando, Carlise, and Carlando Owens. Sponsor, Pronger Smith Medical Care. This bench includes images from the fairy tale The Prince and the Dragon. The dragon looms over the prince, planning to attack. The prince stands with his foot on the dragon's tail, about to pierce it with his sword. Each animal around the planters played a key role in the prince defeating the dragon to set his brothers free. The dragon, prince, and castle are 3D layers. This is the first family bench for the Owens family, although Michelle has participated as an individual for 2 previous years. This family has several years of combined artistic, theatrical, and technical skills and enjoyed bringing their skills together on this project. I hope you enjoyed watching all these benches on Oak Park Avenue. Tinley Park has been a long tradition of doing artistic talent and work. And on Oak Park Avenue, you can see these benches through the summer and part of the fall. I believe they'll be done through October. And then they go on the auction block with proceeds being donated to charity. So come down Oak Park Avenue, watch these bench artists, and hopefully get an idea of what they look like and see what beautiful places, beautiful artwork we have in Tinley Park. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next month.